Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I have a process video of me working through this booklet folio that I'm using for by invitation only. I've added some personal photos of my grandparents' and parents' weddings and also some invitations. I have this paper that I've used for the background. I wanted to use that full hem, and so I just split it in half. So that I could put it in there. And I've also used some 49 and Market fabric tape, and now we're going to use this brand new stencil. I'm in love with this. I'm just using some regular old opaque texture paste for this part, and I will just slather it on this stencil in the background. We want to make sure to get it in all the nooks and crannies of this stencil because it is highly detailed, but it is absolutely beautiful in the end when I pull up here. Next, I'm going to pull out some laser cut elements from 49 and Market. When I was looking at this pack, I realized that it had some faux stamps, and you could easily put the stamps that we got in this kit or added onto this kit in those little postage stamp pieces, and that would be a really cool detail as well and super simple. But I'm deciding to use this little lace edge right here. I'm going to kind of cover up where those papers meet so it's not such a harsh line, and I'm going to also add some book binding there as well, just to add a fun little layered element in that section. I'm using my Barely Art Glue today to glue a bunch of these layers down. What I love about Barely Art Glue is that it dries fairly quickly, and so when you're adding layer upon layer, things are going to move below the layer that you're working on. So I love this stuff. So I'll just add this little lace piece down, and then I will also trim off the edges. I had a very specific placement I wanted with these little, bumps of lace, and so I will save the pieces that I cut off. And now we're going to add something really fun and special. I have this little photo frame from Holtz, and then this is a picture of my mom on her wedding day. I don't know why, it just reminds me of Princess Diana a little bit. So now I'm just working on where I want all my elements placed. I've decided on the frame being on the left-hand side, and I have these broken glass acetate pieces Tim Holtz released, I believe, around Halloween last year, like his fall release. And I decided on using that with this frame. I just think it looks really cool and aged. I did look into using some alcohol inks to add in some more brown tones, but ultimately decided against it. It just wasn't what I was looking for. I did use it in a corner that I knew I wasn't going to use of the acetate piece, but I did decide to wipe it off just in case I want to use that little piece in the future. So just using a little rubbing alcohol wipe, or putting it on a paper towel will wipe that right off. So now I'm trimming this off. I decided to put the little broken glass like halfway over my mom's face, which I know seems a little weird, but I just like the look of it. It draws you right into her face when you look at this photo. So now I'll glue the acetate down to the back of the frame, and then I'm going to use some foam dots to make this frame stand up away from the photo and look more realistic. Now this definitely will add chunk to my folio, but I'm going to have a lot of chunk in this folio, and that's okay because I'm just tying it, as you remember, with one of those seam binding ties, and so my covers can expand greatly. I also wanted to add some of the By the Well Forgot flowers that I had gotten in the ephemera pack, but I did fussy cut them off screen just because it took a lot of time to fussy cut a bunch of the florals, but you'll see that I've removed a lot of that extra white space. I'm putting these florals in the bottom right-hand corner of this frame, checking out how much chunk is going to be there when I turn the page. And I also have this perfected flashcard on the right-hand side of my spread. This has Hebrews 10:14 in it, which says, "For by a single offering he has perfected for all time those who are being sanctified." And so I liked how it said perfected, and then on the left-hand side, we have some broken glass. And I don't know, I just like the juxtaposition of it. I think it was really fun to add those two together. Okay, so next we're going to turn to the right hand side of this spread, and I have some like grungy tape that I made just with some regular old Scotch tape and some alcohol ink. I just made a ton of these at a recent retreat that I held, and that was such a good thing. By the way, if you're going to retreats, if you like doing pages, do pages for sure. But sometimes I just like sitting there and doing a bunch of projects, things that will help me in the future be able to be more efficient in my Bible journaling, because I have a bunch of them done. Like I've done vellum greenery pieces before and all these different elements. I just think it's so fun to just monotonously kind of do a project while you're chatting with people. I don't know. It worked really well for me the past couple retreats. So anyways, now I have these little die cut pieces, the laser cuts that I had trimmed off from before. I'm going to use them because I want to make this side not as prominent as the left-hand side, but I also want to tie them together. So I want to use a lot of the same elements. So I'm using those little laser cut pieces and also some book binding as well. And I will just glue those all together in a cluster. I will also add a little bit of that aged tape to my frame to tie those both together. And then I have this stamp set called Necessary Words. This was released alongside this kit and I absolutely love it. I am taking out one of these little phrases right here and I will stamp it to that fabric tape just in that little section. It fit perfectly. Christ is enough. And that is something that I wanted to remember. I also was thinking back and forth about adding this little floral piece to my cluster and ultimately decided on actually adding that. So I'll put that in there as well. Now, something I would have done beforehand if I had remembered was to rough up the edges of this flashcard, but I did fail to remember that. And so you'll see me here in a second just take my fingernails and kind of rough up the edges. So you can always do that in case you forget beforehand, but it is much easier to do it, prior to gluing it all down. So anyways, I will do that with my fingernails, and then guys, this little spread will be complete. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I hope you have a wonderful day, guys, and God bless.